Hey everybody, I know I haven't talked politics in a while, but I kind of wanted to, seeing as the November elections of 2012 are about a year away, a little over a year away. So we're going to clash it up, a la Amanda and Steve, aka She's So Mickey, and Fizzy Lyman. And we are going to take a look at the current pool of Republican candidates who are vying to be the Republican candidate for president, who may or may not have a chance of getting into the White House when the inauguration, or re-inauguration, happens in 2013, January 2013. So, we're going to start off with Rick Perry, governor of Texas, currently, who, among other things, has a family ranch with a possibly offensive name on a rock outside it. There's that, and there's also the fact that he instituted a mandate for girls to get HPV vaccines, which kind of steps on the whole big government is bad thing that the Republicans aren't the biggest fans of. Next up, we have Michelle Bachmann, congressional representative from Minnesota, who somehow mixed up the birthplaces of John Wayne and John Wayne Gacy. Yes, they both dressed up, but their actions were a bit different. One was a cowboy in movies, the other was a clown who raped and murdered little boys and buried them in his backyard/basement. Next up, we have Mitt Romney, the Mormon governor of Massachusetts, who is a bit of a flip-flopper, doesn't quite understand birth control. By the way, there's a good Rachel Maddow clip of that explaining the whole thing down there. And of course, instituted a healthcare plan that has been deemed a predecessor to what the Republicans call Obamacare. The Mormonism issue is a bit of an issue with the Republicans, as they are more Christian than Mormon, and it's kind of viewed as more of a cult/sect, and yeah, I don't know. Next up, of course, we have John Huntsman, the ambassador to China under President Obama. The Mormonism didn't really enter into the discussion about him there too much, of course. Next up, of course, there is Herman Cain, the former pizza magnate of Godfather's Pizza, who, among other things, has a tax plan that is reminiscent of something an angry Adolf Hitler would say. And he also basically tells people to blame themselves for not being rich, as opposed to, blaming the banks, which so didn't have anything to do with causing the financial crisis from 3 years ago, which didn't result in them getting bailouts, which didn't result in them paying the taxpayers back for the bailouts. Next up, of course, we have Ron Paul, a libertarian who is running for the umpteenth time. Newt Gingrich, who is running for, I believe, the third time, who I believe is also running on a family values sort of platform, even though he's on his third wife, and he did some cheating with one of his wives on one of his other wives. So there's that. And lastly, of course, there's good old Rick Santorum. Just do a Google search for Rick Santorum plus Dan Savage if you don't quite know what that whole deal is about. And of course, there are two Republican candidates who have not been involved in the debates, mainly because of their possibly controversial Republican views, namely Buddy Roemer, who supports the 99%, and Fred Karger, an openly gay Republican activist, who is in support of gay marriage and all things related, which are mainly the reasons why, in my opinion, they haven't been involved in the debates. So, I would like to hear what you guys have to say on the matter. Comments, of course, are welcome. Video responses are welcomed, of course. Now, I might frolic in the dusting of snow we have and are getting right now, which is really odd for the end of October. Or I'm probably going to do reading for classes, which is rather important. So I'm going to go do that. If you want to see last week's video on Fables, Once Upon a Time, and Grimm, you can check it out. I'll link it down there and annotate it somewhere around here. So, hope you had a safe and happy Halloween. See you shortly. Allons-y.